Howdy, it's me, Monabiz. And boy, did I not think I'd be back with this character. I remember making this character, literally no name, because it was a go for it kind of character. Something to just draw and just keep going. So I made it so it's anatomy. Every part of it was just like, I didn't think about the fact that I'd ever have to draw it again. So normally when I make a character, I'll like look at their clothes and I'll make it so like, I can, in my mind, I can see how it would turn. This character, I didn't think about that because I just wanted to make a character for the sake of it. But I really liked her and I was like, well, what am I going to draw this month? And I thought, why not this one? Because she was in one of my folders and I was like, yeah, that'll work. And then I started sketching. And then I realized, oh wait, I made this character to be never drawn again. But it is complicated and strange and I do not understand how I drew this. There are things connected, her wings are connected in strange places that don't fully connect in the right way. So I had to wing a lot of it. And I just decided like through the sketching, there were like, normally in a sketch that I haven't recorded, it'll be like a sketch of like a thumbnail of like where I want it to go. Then I'll put in like proper anatomy and then I'll do the anatomy again. And then I'll put all the details and the clothes and any other random stuff on it. So it's like, you know, a 4 or 5 step process just in the sketch. But with this one, I think I was at least drawing it 10, 11, 12 times with so many different just layers because I was cutting up pieces of old sketch of like previous sketches that I was like, all right, if I reposition it here, because I had an idea in my mind. I just didn't know how to execute this one. It was a lot of experimenting. So I decided when I was sketching that this character probably was built in a way that like its flesh was always moving and like nothing was set in stone about its body except for like, well, its eyes and it's the stones, the red stones on it. So a lot of it's a little here or there when it comes from like the sketch. From the reference to the character. It's still readable as the character for sure, but any closer inspection will notice that like the wing is off and some bits aren't there. It was surprisingly difficult to draw this pose. It looks so simple and to me it still looks stiff, but like I like it. I think the picture came out great, but it was a whole lot of hoping and praying when I was drawing it because I started drawing. I drew it, I did the line art, and then I was like, oh, well, maybe I give it like a painterly style because it's like a mythical god-ish creature. So I was going to give it like black and white painter style and I'll just drop the color on top. I don't know why I thought I could do that. I'd never done it before. And it's whispering over the shoulder of like a veiled priest or priestess, I don't care. And I didn't want to draw like a normal just church dude because in my experience of churches, it's just a normal dude in a suit. And I was like, nah, we're going full mythical. So I put down the basic areas of where shade would go and the basic areas of where the light would hit from one side, and then I like fine detailed that, which every single time I put another line down and I would zoom out or I'd look back on it, I'd look at it and I'd go, it's just not gonna look good. And I would take a break for a bit and then I put the normal colors in. Like I flatted the colors out halfway through like the black and white shading, and I looked at it and I went, oh my god, maybe I should have just normal shaded this. Maybe it would have looked fine normal shaded because I did a bunch of color tests and seeing how that would work and everything just wasn't coming out right. I'd just go sit down for a bit and then I'd come back and I'd be like, maybe if I refine it more it'll be better. But I did. I kept going. I fiddled around with brushes and settings and layer effects, which sometimes I don't normally use. And I think it did come out a lot better than I thought it was at the time of doing it, because it really needed the background and it needed the everything. It really needed to be finished before I could judge it. It was one of the ones that it made me want to give up. Oh, I was looking at scribbles of shading and going, oh no, this isn't turning out the way I wanted. But I persisted because I really wanted this picture to be a thing. I didn't want to just leave it to die in the work in progress. I'm not sure how I feel about the shading style I did with the harsh line art and then putting like a painterly kind of blending out shading. I think I would have preferred to do just like the line art be a part of the shading, and I would have shaded it out and stuff. Like it would have taken like 3-4 times as long, and it was already around 6 hours of work, just the like recorded part, not including like the sketch. Oh, and I missed details, which upset me a little bit, but I decided it's hardly seen that that the detail is missing. Spoiler alert, I didn't paint the screaming faces in the blood wings. Though those are not exactly the focus of the picture, so I didn't mind too much. I wanted to try and make it like a red and greenish color because I don't know, my mind was like, these are the colors that we need. And then I was like, why are these colors? And I realized it was like a very vampire, like if you look up art of vampires and shit, you'll get reds and greens and they're all gothic and shit. And I'm like, oh, this is what my mind wanted. It wanted like semi-religious, gothic, vampire-ish kind of vibe. Not sure if I did it, but who knows? I realized the red and green was just not fully working, but I still think I got enough red and green to satisfy my need to have red and green in the image. Which I don't know why. I don't like working with red and green most of the time because red and green is normally my Christmas drawings, and oversaturated red and greens are my nightmare. From the start, I knew that I wasn't, that when I was shading the priestess lady, whatever, preaching a little sermon, that she wasn't going to be colored. So I put a lot of shading into her without the ideas of, oh, there's going to be other stuff on her. And I think making her black, like gray with all the colors of the red and the green and the golds and all that was a really nice touch. Like I really liked that I decided that one. I also put the sort of a halo-ish disc, I can't remember what they're called, the things that go behind gods and stuff and are fun and lovely to draw. I didn't realize that making such a big one would be such a nightmare. Because normally I just do a couple of circles and then I put some lines and I'm like, wow, look at that halo effect. And I was like, no, I want to make it more personal. I want to make it more succinct. What a fool I was, because it just kept going and going and I was running out of ideas. And then I realized that on one side of the screen while I was drawing and it was all that, the other side of the screen still had more to go. And I was like, well, if one side facing the crowd could be, you don't have to see what I draw on the right side. So I put like the screams that were supposed to be in her wings, and then like her face opened up. You can hardly tell that's what it's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be like more horrific and all that stuff. And then on the very outer ring in the corner, it's hardly seeable, is like more shattered rings. And I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. But this one was a hike to get through, a hike and a half. I was going up and down a mountain looking and praying. After once I decided that the base colors would just, I wouldn't be using any of them but the eyes for anything more than distinguishing the different shades. I was like, yes, I finally found the perfect form. This is it. And it all came together for me. So I really did like this one. I was like, but it gave me the workaround. I shouldn't have gone through this much effort. I feel like it beat me up and spit me out and went, there, you done it, now go away. But yeah, I really like it. I have thought that maybe I'll like draw this character again, but who knows? Maybe just her face. I like her head. Maybe I'll just redo a bit of her anatomy so she's a little easier to draw and put together, because at the moment it just didn't work. So anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you again next month.